Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming and now providing some of the most high-rated Game of the Year contenders and fully loaded in 2025. Here are the major changes coming for Xbox Game Pass. We're just getting started into 2025, and Xbox has made Xbox Game Pass one of the best services and the best places to play games. Not only are they providing some of the best games that are high-rated, Game of the Year contenders, but also fully loaded with Xbox's own first-party games. There is a ton of concerns surrounding the Xbox Game Pass service, concerns for the pricing structure, future price hikes, and the viability for developers and publishers who put their games on Game Pass. One of the recently concerned titles into Game Pass was id's Doom: The Dark Ages, which just launched and celebrated an incredible milestone. Fans or anti-fans of Xbox were looking at Doom: The Dark Ages on Steam's database to find out that only 31,000 people played the game on Steam, only in an effort to show that Game Pass or the game itself under Xbox's management would not be a success. Just after a day of social media and the internet explaining that Doom: The Dark Ages was a massive flop, Bethesda showed that the game reached 3 million players, but everyone said, "Players, where are the sales?" Well, the difference is that Doom: The Dark Ages in 2025 reached 3 million players 7 times faster than Doom Eternal did in 2020, and Doom Eternal was a game that launched right in the beginning of the global pandemic. 7 times faster to 3 million players also means that the game essentially became an equilibrium of sales versus subscription services. How does this work? Well, if you bought Doom Eternal in 2020 for $60, that is about 6 to 7 times the subscription fees to make up for actual outright $60 purchases. They made just as much money on Game Pass as they would by outright selling the game, and they're not done yet. Sources are reporting that Doom: The Dark Ages did very, very well on the Xbox console. In fact, more people played the game on the Xbox console thanks to Xbox Game Pass than the people that purchased it on the PlayStation 5. And with Xbox Game Pass PC app being one of the biggest places where people were playing Doom: The Dark Ages. But Chris Dring of Game Business reported, according to Ampere's data, 2 of the 3 million players on Doom were on the Xbox console. But another interesting factor with Game Pass, before we get into all the changes that are coming to the service, is that Xbox has these games available on the service, but they're also selling them on the PlayStation 5. According to the April 2025 top-selling US games on the PlayStation 5, with the #1 selling game on PlayStation right now being Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, #2 with Forza Horizon 5 with almost 2 million sold on the PlayStation 5 alone, a game that's almost 5 years old. The tried and true Minecraft at #4, and #6 Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and #7 Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That means Xbox has 5 top games in the top 10 sold on the PlayStation 5. The difference with Xbox and their business model of going multi-plat is that Xbox has run the numbers and they can still grow Game Pass, sell games on PC, sell games on Steam, also sell their consoles and their Xbox games on that platform, while they also make money selling games on PlayStation 5. This news is also added that just this week, the announcement Ninja Theory shows that Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga is finally getting its port to the PlayStation console, a game that started exclusive on the PlayStation 4 last generation in 2016. But the big news for most fans everywhere who are going to play on any device is that Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga is finally getting its enhancement, and this probably means it's going to be 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X, PS5, and PS5 Pro. I did a review for Hellblade last year. You should check it out. It's a great 7 to 8 hour experience with excellent combat and visuals that are completely next level. Xbox has already started off an incredible 2025 with Xbox Game Pass. So far, the Xbox Game Pass selection has been bolstered with first-party content, starting out the year with Avowed, an excellent game I highly recommend. South of Midnight, an interesting game that I enjoyed, but you probably should play it if you have access to Game Pass. And then the newly released Oblivion Remaster, which is really a remake that has been topping the sales charts has tons of people playing, has been a massive success for Bethesda. And then Xbox brought in a AA Game of the Year contender game from Sandfall, Expedition 33. This game has set the internet on fire with everyone talking about it being a 10 out of 10. Incredible turn-based combat, hard-hitting story, wonderful graphics from a team that came from Ubisoft, a team of just 30 people. This is the selection that you're getting on Game Pass in 2025. I'm saying that you're getting it in 2025 because over the past 3 years on Game Pass, especially in 2022, 23, and 24, the selection has been awful. Xbox has just sat there doing nothing, not getting these big games or getting interesting games from their third-party partners or even their own first-party studios not delivering during those long 3 years. But now they're finally hitting. In fact, a small indie game called Blueprints, which is a puzzle game where you go into Metroidvania-like changing rooms that are procedurally generated, has really won people over. And it's another game that will most definitely get the Indie Spotlight Award for Game of the Year amongst all of the other big publishers. And then yesterday, we get the announcement that Sega is putting out a Warhammer Space Marine remaster on the Xbox and PC, and it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. But the most interesting thing about this announcement is that Space Marine Remaster is not even coming to the PlayStation 5 console. We don't know why. There's probably not a money-hatting situation here from Sega and Xbox. And then people are speculating that maybe the version for PlayStation 5 is not ready, or that back compat has something to do with it, which it doesn't. This does not have to do with back compat. This is a full version that's probably built from the PC port that is available right now on Steam and other platforms. But if you're excited about revisiting or finally playing through Space Marine Remaster, they are giving you new audio, remastered visuals, and improved character models and much more. The game looks really great, and it's one of those classic Xbox 360 era games, and just dropping on Game Pass. And then another one, Metaphor ReFantazio, was just announced the other day, coming to Game Pass. That game came out late last year and is another Game of the Year contender. And then another announcement was that Xbox is bringing retro classics to Xbox Game Pass, which brings a couple of dozen classic games from the Atari era to your Xbox console. And this is another Game Pass drop that they just showed. I don't know how many people are going to play these really old games, but there is definitely a segment of retro players that'll enjoy that this will be on their console or available to them without using some other software on their PC or using dev mode on their Xbox Series S. But there's a bunch of games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass in the rest of the year, and Xbox has even more announcements coming to the Xbox Game Showcase. If you want to know everything there is to know about the Xbox Game Showcase, what they have in the pipeline, and what they'll probably show, check out my video about the Xbox Game Showcase for 2025. But already we know that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remaster is coming from Activision. They've shown footage of this game. It's just another entrance into Game Pass. Ninja Gaiden 4 is another game that Xbox has partnered with their first-party studios. That's coming toward the end of the year. Ninja Gaiden looks incredible and looks like the modern take on this hack and slash. I can't wait to see that one drop into Game Pass. And also Outer Worlds 2, which is going to be at the showcase, a big direct about this sci-fi RPG from Obsidian Entertainment. I did a full video breaking down the weapons and gameplay features. Check that out. That's on my channel. There is so much to be excited about for Outer Worlds 2, and just another one on Game Pass. Just a couple of weeks ago, Xbox announced that Gears of War Reloaded, a remaster of the first Gears of War game with overhauled textures, new lighting, and 4K 60 FPS on Xbox Series X, also coming to PC and PlayStation 5. That's another big game that's coming in August for Xbox Game Pass and the platforms. But one of the surprises that I think we'll see at the showcase is that for a long time, people have been asking for the Final Fantasy games to come to Xbox console. And there's a heavy rumor swirling that Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake from 2019 are going to be revealed at the Xbox Showcase and be dropping on Xbox Game Pass by the end of the year. And not only that, Square Enix plans to put Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, the game that just released a couple of years ago on PlayStation 5, into Xbox the following year, and then finish up the trilogy on all of the platforms. For the fans of Starfield, and Starfield is a great game. I have some issues with some things, but I've got over 400 hours into it. Starfield Starborn DLC is supposed to be shown sometime this year and come out around September of 2025. And I would also expect a big reveal for this whole package to also come to the PlayStation 5 console, and I expect that will be a really big moment, and Starfield will sell a ton on the PlayStation platform. But not only that, the game will finally get a bunch of changes, additions, some more mods in the creation set, and hopefully have its Cyberpunk 2 moment. I've also covered this. Starfield has a lot to do, but there is such a great package that they've been building up, and the team hasn't stopped. One of the things that's missing from the service is them grabbing even bigger titles or trying to get some big mainstream or tentpole titles day and date, which are usually reserved to be purchased on those platforms. But Xbox themselves have so many games, with some 10 to 12 games releasing from their own in-house studios this year that are included in a suite of games where they're showing some 15 to 20 games every single month being added to the service. And right now, if you go onto their site and look at the most popular, the highest rated, or the most played, Xbox Game Pass has been absolutely killing it in 2025, and it's been long overdue. The other question is, if you're paying $10 to $20, are you getting your money's worth from Xbox Game Pass? Well, one of the interesting things about looking at some of the games coming out, like if you're looking at Doom: The Dark Ages and the upcoming Outer Worlds 2, and you're like, I think I just want to buy those outright, Xbox Game Pass already has you covered with about $220 or $240 a year. And if you buy 3 or 4 games, you might as well pay for Game Pass and get all of the 300 or 400 other games that come included with it. But the best thing about Xbox Game Pass is I wouldn't sit here and try to sell it to you. It's just another option and another way for Xbox to look at the business, because they always sell every game outside of the Game Pass service. Nothing is locked behind that service as an exclusive, and they're also selling everything on PlayStation. Games are coming to Nintendo Switch 2 as well, which will get some big announcements for that after Showcase as they partner with Nintendo, which will be very interesting to see. If Xbox decides to price hike the service up $2 to $3 more a month, of course it'll still be a great value as they offer thousands of dollars worth of games. I don't want to see Xbox run away with price hikes, because right now they're the #1 publisher in the industry. They're having the top sales across other platforms, they're putting out the most games, and they're really doing well with high-rated quality games. And the last thing they need to do is to make us pay for that increase for something they promised us way back in 2018. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. If you got this far, thank you so much. I think Xbox Game Pass as a subscription is actually a good disruption in the industry, and it's probably going to open up walled gardens and make gaming a more value-driven and choice-driven industry. If you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support what we're doing here on the Colteastwood channel, you can do that by hitting the join button below. That'll get you early access for videos, monthly giveaways. We're giving away Doom coins and other coins for the Xbox games as they come out from Xbox fan art. Also, if you want to support, you can do that by joining the Patreon. There we have several tiers for giveaways, the club, and also a super class. You want to learn how to do production, design, and that's 20 years of experience one-on-one. I have a couple of superclass Patreons. Check that out as well. If you want to hear more discussion that goes on, we have a 2-hour live show called XNC Podcast. Mag and I will talk about all of this news, break down the latest, some of the controversies, and get into the latest leaks and rumors. Check that out. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube and on demand on Spotify if you want to listen while you're mowing your lawn. Get out there. It's growing. It's that time. Also, let me know what you think about everything and what you think about Game Pass in general. And while you do that in the comment section, as I always say, please be nice.